This is The Professional Stepdad, a place where we share stories, strategies, and ideas for men just like you to help answer that one important question: how can I be a better stepdad? Welcome back to the Professional Stepdad Podcast. I am your host, Franco Zavala. Thank you guys for joining me. This is episode 19. It's going to be a pretty crazy week because of all the stuff that's going on in the world. So I'm going to be pushing out a lot of different types of information and material that is going to be really focused on family and habit building and awareness. But I wanted to make today's episode specifically about something that happened yesterday. So you guys know that I'm going heavy on TikTok. And the reason I'm going heavy on social media is because I'm trying to build a platform, right? And the best way to build a platform is to put yourself on as many platforms as you can to deliver content and information that is kind of focused around what you represent. And for me, that is, I'm representing a voice for all stepmen, stepdads, stepfathers out there. So yesterday, I received a message from a gentleman who is, pretty much telling me that he doesn't need to take responsibility for the actions of his stepchildren because they're not his children. And it got to me for a second, and I had to reread it a couple times because it almost didn't make sense to me in a few different ways. And here's the ways that it didn't make sense to me. So, he said that he doesn't need to take responsibility. He goes, they're not my responsibility. I'm just the stepdad. So right then and there, he loses, right? Right then and there, the family loses. Everybody loses in that scenario because he never is going to see himself as the leader and the man in the family. He's always going to see himself as the outsider. Therefore, he's going to consistently not only push people away, but he's going to push away responsibility. He's going to wipe his hands clean of all actions that his stepchildren take or his wife takes, or maybe it's just his girlfriend. But then it got me thinking of how many women are in that situation where the stepdad is not fully in, he's not fully taking responsibility. He is constantly playing the victim instead of playing the leader. And how long you're going to actually stay in that relationship before you realize that it's just another toxic relationship, right? So I want to empathize with the women for a second because you guys, girls, I understand you. I see where you're coming from because the ignorance of this man and his statement to me yesterday was a clear indication. Wow, I can't say that word. It's very clear that he doesn't want to be where he's at, and he is that gentleman that's looking for the back door and the way out. And he's not going to do it because, again, we're men, right? So we're proud and we don't want to ever give up on anything. Even if it's something that we don't want, we still are not going to give up on it based off of pride. So he's going to wait until you mess up, or until your children do something wrong, or until the bio dad does something, or it will not matter. He will find a reason and he will leave you. So I'm just going to tell you right now, moms, that when it happens, it's not your fault. When he decides to snap and leave, or I give up, or push away responsibility, I need you to know that it's not your fault. It's not your fault because you're doing your best. You're doing your best as a mom to bring in a father figure that is going to represent leader and someone that takes responsibility, but more important, somebody that loves and cares, right? There's a really big issue that's happening in the world right now where we see rioters and looters and people that are not protesting, right? Because just so we're all very clear, and I'm giving my statement here, I'm 100% for the protest. And the reason I'm 100% for protesting is because it's our constitutional right to protest the things that we do not like. And we label it, whether it's the Me Too movement or the Black Lives Matter, it doesn't matter. A protest is a protest, and done the correct way, it's done to create influence and movement within that sector to create change. That is the reasons for a protest. It's, you're not listening, so I've got to speak louder. But for the people that are taking it as an opportunity to steal and pillage and loot, I'm watching these videos and I'm looking at my own children And I'm thinking to myself, man, it's not these guys, it's not their fault either. The ones that are breaking the windows and punching people and just doing dumb shit, guys, I know it's going to be hard to kind of wrap your around what I'm about to say, or maybe you already get it, but it's not their fault either. It's an inherited trait. Just like racism, just like poverty, it's inherited. This is things that they learned from the men and the women that raised them. So if they're out there, what is the definition of character? The definition of character is what we do when no one's looking. And this is a clear example of parenting and upbringing gone wrong, to where these people, the blacks, the whites, the Hispanics, the Mexicans, everybody that's out there looting, it's a clear indication that they were not only not led, but they were spoon-fed the victim card their whole life. And they never took responsibility. Yeah, so I get it. So maybe you grew up with an alcoholic family. Maybe you grew up with parents that are alcoholics, or maybe you grew up with a dad that wasn't there, or a mother that hit you. Maybe you grew up in the ghetto. Maybe you grew up in a really rich family that gave you everything and you resent them for that. It doesn't matter what your scenario is. The question is that are you playing the victim card or are you playing the victor card? Because if you've been spoon-fed, it's their fault. Blame it on them. It's the system. It's the cops. It's the politics. Whatever it is. If your whole life that's all you've heard, if that is all you've heard, that is what you believe. And it takes a strong mental mindset to move past that. So I look at the looters and the people that are doing the really dumb shit, and I have to ask myself, is this a product of their environment, their home, the way they were raised? And the answer is absolutely. Absolutely. And by the way, the gentleman that replied to this message, he did not leave his name. I'm assuming it's a dummy account. It's somebody that just wanted to speak his life or his words and didn't want to be recognized for it. To you, sir, you don't want to take responsibility for the actions of the children in your home? Then leave. Get out of there, man. Like, do her a favor. Like, be honest with her and just get the hell out of there, because you're going to teach your children that they don't have anybody that they can turn to and to talk to and to believe and trust and to depend on. You will consistently look for the way out, and then when you see it, you'll jump, and you'll jump quick. And on the way down, you'll start pointing fingers and blaming others. And I think that is the biggest tragedy about this statement more than anything, which is, they're not my children. They're not these are not my kids. I'm just the man in the house. It's not my responsibility. It's the bio dads. Listen, it's the bio dads. It's yours. It's the mothers. It's the environment. It's the family. It's the friends. Everything will shape your children so they grow up to be either somebody that's out there protesting for change and love and support and a difference, or somebody that's out there looting and robbing and stealing and hurting. Like, I'm all about someone speaking their mind. I'm all about standing up for what you believe in more than anything. And I mean, I'm a Hispanic man in a predominant white family in a predominant white neighborhood. And I can play that card all damn day. That I'm the outsider, I'm the one that looks different, all that stuff. Guys, it's not about that. It's not about black, white, Hispanic, Asian, blue, purple, doesn't matter. It's about the race. It's about us as human beings. So to the gentleman that left that message, I implore you, just get the hell out of there. Do her a favor and allow her that space so that somebody that wants to come in their life and create real change can come, because you are ruining the children. Do you understand that? You are ruining the children. No, Frank, but it's the bio dad's fault. The bio dad is the one that he's the evil one. He's always putting this crazy shit in their head, and then they come back here and they treat me like crap. Listen, you cannot control the actions of the bio dad. Stop fucking looking at them as an scapegoat, as a way out. Control your home, control your environment, control what comes in and what comes out. It is your responsibility to lay a foundation of values so that when your children grow up, that they stand for something and stand for others. And that is one of the things that is killing me about these protests and people that are looting, because they're not standing for equal rights. They're not. They're seeing an opportunity to like, here's the best way I can put it. They're making it all about them. I mean, this is about a gentleman that was handcuffed and murdered on camera. And I don't give a shit about the conspiracy theories or what you think or how you believe the cops are, or whether you're for the cops or you're not for the cops or whatever. I've had my fair share of amazing cops. My uncle was a cop. Okay, I've had my fair share of amazing cops, and I've had my fair share of cops that immediately took me for what I was. I was wrongfully accused of check fraud, specifically because I was a Hispanic man with tattoos in a bank standing behind an elderly gentleman who was white. And one thing led to another. Can't make this up. I'm here with my family. This is right when I'm going to give you guys this situation, how I could have played the victim card, okay? I go to the bank, going to deposit a check. The gentleman in front of me is an old white man. Great guy. I think his name was like Steve or something. He said hello to me. I said hello back. It was very cordial. He goes to the front of the teller, does his transaction while I'm just standing there. And I saw the footage, right? They had to show me the footage while they were trying to point fingers at me. And then I go up and I do the transaction. I deposit a check in my account. And no, I didn't even deposit. I'm sorry. I was withdrawing money from my account so I could pay rent at the time, because I was just becoming that man in this family. So I wasn't living with my current family right now. I was still staying in an apartment, which I never stayed at, actually. It was kind of like a storage unit. The very next day, I'm here at my home now, and I'm eating breakfast with my future family and my wife, who's known me my whole life and knows all the knucklehead things that I did when I was a kid, from selling drugs to causing havoc to drinking and parties. Like, she knew that about me. That's why she questioned that about me, period, because she wanted to make sure that I wasn't that little kid, because I've known my wife since we were 6, right? So now imagine this, we're at the table. I'm at the table and I'm trying to create this sense of like, guys, I'm here for you. Like, I want to be the man in this house. Like, I love all of you. And the door knocks and we look, and it's 2 police officers, and they walk in, handcuff me in front of my family, read me my rights, throw me in the back of a cop car and take me downtown. My wife left me mentally for about an hour, meaning like she didn't want me in that family anymore, because she thought that I was lying about everything that I had been telling her that I wasn't doing anymore. So I go to the police station and I'm there for like 3 hours. They fingerprint me, they take pictures of all my tattoos, ask me if I'm gang affiliated. Again, wrongfully accusing me. So, and this is how a lot of you feel. It's guilty until proven innocent, when it's supposed to be the other way around. And those type of cops, that doesn't define the police. It just defines these men and the way they see it and how they saw me. It doesn't define police, it defines the men. The gentleman that killed Mr. Floyd it doesn't define police, guys. It defines him, or even the people that were around him. Like, everybody's yelling at all these other cops that should be brought up on charges because they were just standing around and watching him choke. Guys, for all we know, the gentleman that murdered the cop that had his foot on the neck, for all we know, he was the dominant one in that group, and nobody wanted to double cross him. There are so many different layers of that story that could happen. And to the people that were taking video, like, put your phone down and try to help. Now, I get it. You probably were scared. Shit, I would have been scared. A bunch of cops around with their hands on their guns while one of them has their foot on somebody's neck. I would have been scared as well. But stop defining the police stop defining what do they call that? Orchard, the apple orchard, right? Don't define an entire apple orchard based off of a few bad apples. So long story short, I'm there for 2 hours. I look at the footage. I tell them what I did. I withdrew money. They told me I had stolen money out of the gentleman's account that was in front of me, right? And then when I showed them my bank account and when I showed them that I deposited that amount of money the day prior to that so I could take it out in order to pay rent, they started asking themselves, like, okay, well, can you show us your bank account? So I did. I showed them the app. Here, look, take a look at this. Well, can you tell us why you were in the bank? Because I was withdrawing money. Well, how do you know this gentleman? Were you tailing him? No, I never saw the guy before in my life. When they finally called the bank, which was what they should have done first, when they finally called the bank and got a hold of the teller that helped him, they found out that it was a teller error, that she never closed down his account. So when she withdrew money from that gentleman's account for me. But I didn't know that. I'd given her my card. I'd given her my bank number. She was supposed to have pulled up my account. I just assumed that she did. And when they realized this, guys, their whole attitude changed. They started asking me if I want a coffee and do I want a soda. And when I got taken home that day, I was no longer handcuffed in the back of a cop car. They put me comfortably in a cruiser in the front seat and apologized the whole way home. Now, I could hate the police for this. I can hate these cops and these men for this, but I don't, because I'm not the victim. It's something that happened. It's something that had to happen to allow me, to wake me up, to help me understand that I've got to continue to grow mentally first before I can be responsible for a family of 5 and to help raise my only son. So women, moms, if you have that stepdad that's in the house that you just don't feel comfortable with and he's not taking responsibility for his home and he's not setting good values, dude, leave. I know you're afraid to be alone, but leave fucking anyway. Leave. Leave as quick as you can so that you make room for the gentleman that is going to come into your life, that is going to be a light in your life, that is going to set good standards and values. Don't be like this gentleman that messaged me and said that my stepchildren are not my responsibility. I leave it up to the stepdad. You know, that guy's a coward and he should never be in that position. He's just afraid to be alone. So he just put himself in any position and he probably doesn't want to leave, like I said, because he's too proud. So this entire episode is specifically for that, right? Stepdads, if you find yourself in your home right now where you feel like you're not wanting to take responsibility, you're trying to pawn off responsibility, you're trying to blame other people for the way your children are ending up, I want to make it very clear that you're a coward. You're not a leader. You shouldn't be in that position. Being a stepdad is a huge responsibility because you're stepping into a house and you're stepping up and you're stepping forward. I mean, this is a great opportunity for you to be like this incredible light, an incredible motivational person, an inspirational person within this family. Because before you got there and all the circumstances that happened before you stepped into their life, they could easily look at life and being scared of men and being scared of stepdads. Maybe you're like the third man that tried to step into the stepdad position. There are a lot of different scenarios, guys. But be the light. Take responsibility. You are in charge and you are responsible for the values within your home, period. You are responsible for the rules, for how you teach them, what you teach them. It's important to teach them about everything, right? But be there to not only ask questions to them, but be there to answer. Don't blame, don't pawn it off on somebody else because you're too insecure. And that's for a lot of you stepdads out there. Like, listen, I'm a stepdad and I take full responsibility in the position that I'm in. And I've started this podcast and this show to give stepdads who want to be there, who want to affect real change, a voice and a platform and a place for them to get real, honest information that can help them grow. And on behalf of all of us, if you're the stepdad that sits on the couch, complains all the time, blames others, poor me, all this other shit, please do us a favor and get out of town. Leave that house right now because you are giving us a bad name. My objective and my purpose is to change the narrative behind what it means to be a stepdad and a step parent in general. And there are a lot of bad apples in the step world that don't belong there. Get the hell out of there. Please, I'm begging you. I'm begging you. If you don't think, if you're taking some sort of offense to what I'm saying, or I'm affecting you psychologically in a way that you're getting pissed off at me, then this is a wake-up call for you. Because if anything that I've said is affecting you in a negative way, you're the problem. But if anything that I said is affecting you in a way where you are asking yourself, you know what, am I doing all I can? Am I setting good values? How are my routines and standards in my house? Am I being the leader? Am I stepping forward? Am I showing how things are supposed to be done? And if not, what can I do to make it better? If that's you, then this is where you belong. This is where you belong. Now, recently I've been marketing on Facebook so I can get a little bit, I'm trying to gain momentum on this platform because I want to speak to more men. But the more I look at it, the more I see that there's a lot of women that are liking what I'm posting that are in a position where they're the mother within a family that has a stepdad, and they're asking questions. And that's why the very first part of this podcast was for you, which is, moms, if you've noticed that these men are poison, don't be afraid to be alone. I'd rather you be alone and you start working harder on here so you can help build this power and this strength behind you so you become a leader instead of being dependent. If that's what it takes, I ask you to do it. I posted something the other day about what it means to be a stepdad and how I'm never dropping the word step and how I own that word. That word is a badge of honor, and how I'm changing the narrative and all this stuff. And somebody commented on the video, I never gave my children a stepdad. What is it? I never gave my children a stepdad because I had a stepdad and he abused me as a child. So right then and there, I want to reach out to her and say, listen, you are doing your children a disservice by automatically placing all stepdads in that category of abusers. That is why this platform even exists right now, because I need to get rid of the ignorance around being a stepdad and being a step-parent. There is too much learned, inherited ignorance. I don't even blame that lady. I blame her parents. I blame her parents, and all that bullshit that they put in her head a long time ago. It's inherited, guys. Everything is inherited. Don't you understand? Everything is learned, whether it's social media or in the home. Racism is learned on social media and in the home. It's not about black, white, brown, purple. It's about the human race. That's what you guys have to understand. The movement is Black Lives Matter because it does. The movement, guys, the movement is Black Lives Matter. This is not some sort of a segregated rally call that only black men and women can belong to. This is just like the Me Too movement. It's a movement, guys. It's a reason. There's a reason behind it. Stand up for the equality. Stand up for equality. Stand up for the treating the human race with respect. Any person of color, whether you're black or Hispanic like me, I grew up fearful of police. Fear. Complete fear of them. TV, movies, my environment taught me this. Please understand that, guys. You're not born with this hate. You learn it. So men, stepdads, moms, it's your responsibility to change the narrative. Change the narrative on social media so the videos that are being posted now are positive. Highlight the positive. If we bombard social media with positive, then that's all that can be out there. The negative has to go away. But we're putting so much energy towards the negative that all we're doing is seeing negative. So, I want to end this episode 19 of the Professional Stepdad Podcast with this. It is our responsibility as adults. It is our responsibility as step parents. It is our responsibility as parents in general to help change the narrative around what it means to have equality in this country, to love one another, to treat each other with respect. And it all starts within the home. It starts with the values. It starts with what you're teaching. If you know you're teaching the wrong thing, I don't blame you. You were taught it, but you can change it. And it starts with awareness. Become aware of what you're doing, and then be the change that we all need. Thanks for joining me, everybody. This is episode 19, Professional Stepdad Podcast. Milestone coming up, episode 20. I'm excited for it. Q&A is going to be cool this week. I'm going to be speaking with a doctor, hopefully, that's also a stepdad, which is going to be fun because he's a plastic surgeon. That's curious to me. Guys, thank you very much for joining me. I'll talk to you soon.
Quiet on the set, please. Thank you, everybody.